Hey folks, it's Tommy Z, sitting on my balcony with a few words of inspiration for all of you who are feeling overwhelmed, for all of you who are running around doing a lot of things but not really feeling delighted or inspired by the fruit that you're producing. Now, in order to get somewhere that you're actually going to enjoy getting to, you have to make sure you calibrate your compass. You have to ensure you have defined your destination before you set out on a journey. I hope that's pretty clear. I'm going to give you the 3 words that I use in my life, in my relationships, and in my work as a way of defining my destination, as a way of determining what kind of key criteria am I looking for in the projects that I choose to do, in the results that we are generating, and how do I decide? Are these things the things that I actually want to be responsible for? Are these the things that I want to publish out there in the marketplace? And I hope that by the end of this video, these 3 words that I share with you today and the deeper meaning behind them will help you to calibrate your compass so that you feel less overwhelmed, you know exactly where you're heading, and you know how to set up your work, your relationships, and your life in a way that will bring you deeper joy, deeper fulfillment, and deeper happiness. Let's get to it. So folks, I calibrate my compass according to 3 S's. Simple, soulful, significant. Each of these S's plays a role on its own, but the 3 S's also synergize together. They feed off of each other. They complement each other. So before I choose a project, before I decide what to do, and even once I do the very thing, I always ask myself, is this simple? Is this soulful? Is it significant? And now let me break each one of these down so that you understand the reason why I choose these 3 words. Now, why simple? Notice that as human beings, we are attracted to simplicity. Or let me put it another way. Are you ever attracted to complexity? Do you like it when companies, when products, when stories, when films are so complex you can't even make out what's going on? No, we like simple things. Simplicity done well delights us. Now, I say simplicity done well because it's not enough just to have something that's simple and yet plain. We want to create the kind of simplicity in our life and work that is simple but not shallow. A simplicity that naturally invites us in, draws us in. But we know that there's something behind this simplicity. Notice that we as human beings are willing to pay a premium to anyone who's going to make something complex simple for us. In a world full of information, full of complexity, full of stimulation, full of all the things in our feeds, we will pay a premium to the people who keep it simple. Simple, but not shallow. We will seek out those who are able to give us signal amidst all the noise. Simple facts, simple truths. Simplicity is something that I always strive for in my life and work because I know simplicity is something that I am naturally attracted to. Make your communication simple. Make your content simple. Make whatever you create simple. Simple, but never shallow. Simple, but never superficial. Simple, but never plain. Apply the rule of simplicity when you set goals. You see, people are so afraid of reaching out for the things that they really want. They're afraid. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid it's not going to turn out the way we thought it's going to. Forget all of that. Keep your goal setting simple. You want to write a book? Write a book. It's that simple. What does that mean? At the top of your journal page every day, write 1 task. I'm going to write for 30 minutes. Or if you prefer, I'm going to write 1 page every day. Don't get lost in some complex setup trying to perfect your system for writing this novel. Keep it absurdly simple. Just write a single page every day. Keep your life down to a few simple, essential projects and people. And speaking of people, you ever wanted to meet your hero? Keep it simple. Write a letter to them. Write a simple email to them. And again, simplicity comes into play, because do you think your hero wants to get a long-winded letter from you? Always and everywhere. Keep it simple, but not shallow. And that's how we get to the next word. If we want to keep it simple but not shallow, we want simplicity with a spark, or what I call soulfulness. What is humanity intrigued by? Humanity is intrigued by mystery, by something deeper, something enigmatic, something that is not so obvious, something that goes beyond, deeper than the obvious. That's why we love mystery. That's why simplicity by itself is not enough. We want to uncover deeper layers, something more meaningful, something more profound, because that is something that as human beings we are built for. We have this capacity to hunger and thirst for deeper meaning, for something that isn't so obvious. Do you see how simplicity and soulfulness work together in a beautiful, harmonious tandem? Because simplicity is something that draws the senses in, but soulfulness is something that resonates with our soul. So first we attract the senses with simplicity, and then we feed the soul with soulfulness, with a deeper meaning, with a deeper payoff. I make sure in all of the projects that we do, in all of the work that we do, that the simplicity is always accompanied by soulfulness, because making things soulful prevents the simple from being plain. Soulfulness is a beautiful word in my life and work, because simply put, it means that I'm always looking for a deeper experience, for something that is beyond the ordinary, for something that will unlock levels of joy, peace, creativity, inspiration that are not commonly found in all of the noise in our feeds. Soulful means alive. Soulful means authentic. Soulful means that I'm delivering this video to you sitting on my balcony right here with my dog. That's right, with the birds chirping off in the distance. I don't care what AI or what best practices says. I'm out here being soulful and simple. And hell, the algorithms and the AI might say, hey, this is not a great way to record. You need to define your niche, your audience. You need to have really dynamic things happening in your video. You know what? I don't care. That's not soulful to me. In fact, I believe that if human beings, if creators keep following all these paradigms and best practices, which are easily captured and codified by AI, where is the humanity? Where is the aliveliness? Where is the soulfulness that only an alive human being can bring? If every human politely listens to the best practices and the algorithms, we're essentially sucking the soulfulness, the very thing that makes you unique and alive and inspiring to others. Well, you suck it right out of you. And then what is the difference between you and the AI that has determined all the perfect things to do so that it produces like perfectly polished pieces of content? No, soulfulness comes with idiosyncrasy. Soulfulness is always a bit unpolished, but always natural, always true, because we know it's real. Soulfulness means that in everything we do, in life and in work, I'm always looking to create simplicity, but with a portal to something beyond, something deeper, something more meaningful. But you can also bring soulful as something that is very down to earth, very grassroots. Soulful for me in my life means that my eyes and ears are right here, right wherever I am, exactly where life is happening. Life is not happening in here. It's not happening in your screen. It is happening in real life. So soulful also means for me, when I step out into the street, when I go to my grocery store, whatever strangers I meet today, I want to look them in the eye as a kindred spirit, another soul. In fact, recently I got into this practice of looking at every person as a soul, which really changes your perspective. Because now they don't just become other people. They're not just bodies moving in time and space, always getting in your way. But instead, you feel a fellowship. You feel a connection, a communion with other human beings. Because you realize they're driven by an invisible operating system of their dreams, desires, fears, worries, destinations, love, hate, all those things we share in common as human beings. You realize that their bodies and minds driven by an invisible operating system called soul. And I don't know about you, but that makes them infinitely more worth noticing. Now imagine the surprise and often the delight of a stranger who you might approach and say, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And then if the conversation actually happens, how delightful it is when you can ask somebody innocently, but wholeheartedly, "Hey, tell me your story." Especially with older folks, do you realize how many of them have no one to talk to? How many of them have family that never calls them? How many of them have incredible stories that they are so hungry and thirsty to share with others? And yet those stories remain within them. Nobody's asking them to be a podcast guest. Nobody's asking them about their opinion. We simply see them as old people. But if you get in a soulful frame of mind, when you look at an older woman, an older gentleman, you realize once upon a time, these folks were just like me, falling in love, battling with their foes, absolutely no different than us. But our senses have gotten so used to judging and putting things in formulas. When we see an older person, we don't see a soul, a human being that is exactly like us, except a few years older. No, we see an old person. Our brain is like, "Oh, that's an old person, probably not worth talking to." When in fact, if you were in a soulful frame of mind, it would be the exact opposite. That is exactly the person you want to say hello to. That is exactly the person that you want to ask about their life story. So soulful means when you talk to a stranger today, look them in the eye, ask them about their story. Being on a soulful frequency in your life and work means that you take the ordinary things and you do them with a great enthusiasm, turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. One of the biggest mistakes that we make in our life is that we forget every moment, seemingly mundane, is a portal, a possibility to create a miracle. Imagine if you approached every email, every conversation, every ritual in your day, not just as another mundane thing you got to keep repeating every single day, not just as a meaningless conversation or a meaningless email, but as a canvas on which you can redefine what writing an email means, what having a conversation with a stranger means, what doing the dishes means. What if you could look at it as an opportunity to remix the mundane into something remarkable? You see how simplicity and soulfulness once again combine? The simple act of doing the dishes can become a delightful experience if you approach it with the frequency of soulfulness. Contemplate the fact that if you're washing the dishes, it means you had something to eat. If you had something to eat, well, that's a lot to be grateful for. And if you're washing a bunch of dishes, it probably means that you ate the meal in the presence of the people that you love. Same moment, different frequency. Same thing that you apparently do every single day, but now you have just remixed it. Now you approached it soulfully. And when you can do that, congratulations, you have just made use of your unique capacity as a human being to go a little deeper, to connect with another human being, to live and work soulfully. Being soulful for me means that my everyday routines, my everyday moments never get mundane. They never become commonplace. The rituals never get stale, even if I have to do them every single day. And the most beautiful benefit of keeping everything soulful in your day means that you're gonna do everything, even the simple act of washing the dishes, in an inspired way, in a conscious way, in an attentive and alive way. And folks, I cannot imagine how your life is not going to get more joyful, more grateful, more profound. Because what is the future but a result of how we spend our everyday moments? Your tomorrow is simply a result of how you spent today. And finally, folks, now that we have kept things simple in our life and work, simple but not shallow, going a little deeper, going beyond, unlocking the extraordinary in the ordinary moments of every day, simple, soulful, next we have significant. Folks, I believe we are here to serve with our unique abilities, our talents, not just to delight ourselves. In fact, the more you seek yourself in your quest to be happy, the more you're going to end up chasing your tail. True happiness is going to come from using your unique ability to actually go out into the world and serve your neighbor. Notice, folks, that we love people who are able to make things simpler for us, people who are able to inspire us, unlock deeper levels of significance, because their approach is not just simple, but also soulful. But ultimately, we are all looking for value. We are looking for something tangible, not just promises, but real value, real substance, real help, real service. And that's why when you choose the projects or the people in your life, always look for the word significant. Ensure that whatever you decide to invest your time in is actually going to serve in a significant way, not just to yourself, but to the ones you love and to the people beyond your closest circle. And a beautiful, simple, soulful, and significant quote that I want to leave you with that ties everything together is this: instead of trying to do a bunch of big things with a small heart, strive from this day forward to do the small things with a big heart. That's how you turn the everyday into not your everyday. That's how you turn ordinary into extraordinary. I want to thank you for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this video, maybe try this one next. I'll see you there.